I present one of my proudest creations. A strong blending of East with West in the traditional sarong kebaya. I have concealed the zip mysteriously, bound to draw second glances from admiring eyes. Nobody wears it as beautifully as the dusky-haired Malayan girl. If the Spanish can afford to be flamboyant, why not we, who have even sunnier skies and as vivid complexions?
There's nothing like cracking open a fashion magazine and being transported to a world of fantasy and beauty. Even more so when it's from the 1960s, a time of great social change, a newly independent Singapore trying to find its footing. In our first ever English women's magazine, I see the name Vickie Dutton in every issue with her very own column. But she didn't just write, she designed and stitched each garment by hand. October 1960, a full feature on her. They had to give the clamoring readers what they wanted. She looks so charming, please tell us more about her. Who was this Malay woman who wrote so elegantly about the kebaya? Who shaped what an entirely new generation of women wore? Why have I never heard of her? A much younger version of me did her very first internship at a fashion magazine. Life took me elsewhere, but fashion was my first love. A piece of clothing made, worn, and photographed a certain way could still make me catch my breath. So I wanted to know more about how this forgotten woman did what she did. Find the people who could tell me more about her, maybe even help bring her back. The people living the life I could have lived if I had followed through with fashion.
I think we only have knowledge of her because we took fashion and then there's fashion history specifically. I think people don't have knowledge because fashion has never been part of Singapore's history.
Or recorded.
Yeah. I mean, it's stuck in the archives.
Yeah. She's way ahead of time. You know, mixing cultural differences into one costume. For example, she mixes sari and kebaya together. In that era for her, I think it was liberating because, you know, as a Malay woman, Malay women in general, there's not much light shed on us for this community. And for her to create these pieces, I think it's so cool.
To learn about someone who did designs in Paris and London when she was at her height of her career, I think that was quite interesting to me. I think fashion in general is a very difficult industry to thrive in because you need like a lot of money and contacts to succeed.
Yeah.
So why did all of you choose fashion?
I think it's highly creative and you kind of get away with a lot of things. It's through that I express my creativity because I like a lot of clashing textures, patterns.
When I was young, my parents keep telling me, you know, your grandma is a seamstress. She made our clothes for Hari Raya. I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. You can actually make something that people can wear. When you sketch it and then it being done is so satisfying. Yeah. You're connected to it. And you just want to see all your creation come to life. And on a person.
In a sense, you develop a sort of relationship to your designs.
Yeah.
I photographed a series of 30 Malay individuals. I made them pick 4 outfits that describe their style. through that, we can see how the Malay identity is constantly adapting to certain environments.
So fashion is self-expression.
Yeah. You know, Malay fashion designers are stereotyped. If you design dresses, then you are like doing like a bridal fashion rather than for the runway. I mean, if you don't have anyone to look up to, then just do it yourself, lor. I mean, for Vickie Dutton, she was the first, and I mean, she did like her own things, like her way.
Do you think if we saw her in contemporary fashion imagery, would you want to photograph someone like her today?
Yeah, definitely, she will be an interesting character, like a TikToker.
TikTok but with glamour.
Yeah.
I think it's a great opportunity for me to express her and my work together.
And so birthed forth the idea to imagine Vickie Dutton's life in a fashion spread, to walk in her footsteps, to understand her.
With a bit of caution as well, because you're sort of retelling someone's life in a few pictures.
But we needed materials beyond these magazines to do this. Was there anyone alive who could tell us about this forgotten woman, who would have been 100 years old today?
How long had it been since you've seen all these?
The night that I packed them for you, that was the time that I actually went through it.
It was your first time?
It
looking-
was.
Oh, this is you.
Yeah, that's
Oh my
me.
gosh. So that's
When I
the
was
same
in my
dress.
20s. Yes.
Moni, my granddaughter, wearing one of my creations of Chinese dragon wound around the body with embroidery, made on white shark skin cheongsam with green dragon symbol of good luck. I designed for Chinese New Year fashion show at Raffles Hotel. Wow.
This is her handwriting. She loves to write.
I was born 70 years ago in Perak, Malaysia.
Umir Kalsum Yahya was a name given to her by her Muslim family in the 1920s. And even though she was a tomboy, her mother made sure she knew how to cook and sew.
As far back as I can remember, I was dressing dolls in my own creations.
Yeah, she
Had it naturally.
Naturally. Don't even have to go to school. She's not a diploma holder, degree holder, none of that. It's in her soul, it's in her DNA, which I think she passed that to me. I did architecture in East London. And I always talk about this door, which I branded as a kebaya door. That's what we've done here.
With the lace
Yes.
kebaya door.
Yes. The power of a woman.
The power woman.
Women participation to the world, a small part politically, but a big part physically.
Did she type this?
Yes. And she had this write-up about how women should not really be portrayed as someone that should just be at home and to take care of the family. Because she felt that women, you know, we're equally as important as the men.
Beauty.
She has learned
poise,
and shown
and
self-respect
self-respect.
It was incredible. Pages upon pages of Vickie's life. Here was the material we were looking for to build the fashion spread.
She did so much writing. It's almost like she wanted to do something with it.
She wants to share her life story with others. She has always talked about, you know, one day maybe people will do a movie on me. Sorry. A little bit emotional. Sorry.
No, it's okay. We wanted to gather some young creatives in fashion who have all heard about Vickie, and they want to help us put together this fashion spread.
That's just amazing. You know, I am speechless because I didn't know how important to some of these young designers what Vickie has started.
All right. So can we have your blessing to do this fashion spread?
Yes, yes. Well, for Vickie, I think we have to go to the basic, how she got famous. I think it's still the kebaya. So it'll be good to feature that still.
Oh, is that hers?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So we all smell like Vickie.
I could see her, read her, connect a scent to her. It was a bold yet elegant aroma that lingered. I imagined the scent on her in this photograph. Vickie blossoming, all eyes on her. It was 1957, and she was 34 years old.
It was never my intention to take a model training course when I accompanied a friend to a local model school to give her moral support.
But she put herself forward, and after just 2 months of model training, she emerges to overnight fame.
I was the first Malay model, and this caused quite a stir.
And less than a year later, there she is on the cover of the nation's largest newspaper.
I really love this. This is always my inspiration, the red kebaya. It can be very sexy yet mysterious. Yeah. Red does give attention. During that time, women, they always been second in everything. So when you have the attention, you bring up your point.
Like, look at me.
Look
like,
at me, yes.
Listen
yes,
to me.
Listen to me. I need equality, you know.
It's almost like we still see traces of her in like modern
Yes.
kebayas.
I can see that she have traveled a lot. I can see haute couture, like the Dior cinch waist here.
Right.
She represents, I go to the other one, I bring it here. It's up to you.
She innovated.
Yeah, she
on
innovated.
the kebaya.
Yeah. Kebaya have been with us for many, many years. In the beginning, it's a very modest attire, just to cover the body of the woman. So they used to wear like a batik sarong, which is a 2-meter cloth, and wrap it around. She said, okay, I'll put a zip. I think it's quite brilliant. We need to go to work. We need to do housework. We need to take care of the children. It makes our life easier.
Just a zipper, and it opened women up to a world of possibilities. I grew up here, but it's my first time wearing a kebaya. And I feel myself entering Vickie's world and the worlds of the millions of women who've worn this.
Beautiful.
What used to be a long Middle Eastern robe that centuries ago traversed the Arab trading routes to Southeast Asia. Its various forms still being reshaped by women like Vickie. Our first design had to pay homage to it and to Vickie's debut.
I want to incorporate the kebaya, the V-neck. You know, kebaya has a flap, right? You know, this type of silhouette.
You're not really incorporating too much of the traditional elements of the kebaya, so it has a balance of it.
You get the vision, right?
Yeah, I get the vision.
What do you think of what she's wearing?
I don't know if in her time this was a risky outfit, but I think the garments then wasn't as conservative as it is now, especially for a Malay woman.
You would see already in the fashion magazines that were available then tight-fitting and low neckline on Malay Muslim women in Singapore. In the 60s, the numbers of women being involved in the labor force can really be seen. And to be able to bring in income for oneself, it also opened up, in that sense, the world. So people will find this style of dressing that makes me a little bit more modern than you.
When did that change?
The ideas were coming in, from Saudi Arabia. I mean, there was also Islamic reformism that was going on already in the late 70s, coming to Southeast Asia in the 80s. This notion of modesty in terms of what you wear. What does it mean to be a modest Muslim woman? The different time periods and contexts are important to take into account.
So how would we, women of today, translate what Vickie wore then?
We want to find a taffeta fabric for the side panel, like a ball gown, but we cannot find the color. Is it too yellow? This is so yellow, Gotta hit the spot, the right one. This one, I scared it will look too cheap.
Yeah, and Vickie is like all about ducks.
Yeah. Oh, she found it. Oh my god! Yes! It's black. It's black. Okay.
So we found the one.
Yes. Okay, we got it. Look, it's so luxe. It matches our vision.
Yeah.
And before we knew it, we were ready to dress and photograph our Vickie for the very first time. With this photograph as our inspiration, we found someone who just had that something special.
I hadn't really known about many Malay models growing up. It was usually always just white models or East Asian faces. So there weren't a lot of people that I could look up to for posing or how to soft angle myself on camera. I felt like if I knew about Vickie, I would have probably felt more encouraged. I feel like, where is she? Where is she in history that I didn't even know about her until now?
Oof. Damn, girl.
Cry. It's not expectation versus reality, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I feel so, it's surreal because we somewhat nailed it. Okay.
So here we are at the very first image of our spread, the start of our story. How are we gonna get Vickie's spirit right? But through our own lens.
Outwards a bit, the front leg. No, to the right. Yeah. Yes, like this.
She was definitely giving fierce, strong energy, confidence.
Yep, that's nice.
So I'm just gonna try and put parts of myself into it.
She's embracing the glamour and the attention that was given to her. Which is why we introduced the TV screens and the idea of self-image. I keep looking back to photographers in the 60s and 50s.
So you look back to Vickie Dutton's period.
Yeah. Yep, gorgeous. There's a sense of optimism it was the post-war period and they want to start a new life.
Vickie started a whole new life and career in 1957. And she went on to inspire even more to come out of their shell, opening a modeling school for young women.
Yep, that's nice.
But what made her put herself forward for something she said she had no intention of doing before? Was it something or someone? A silk parachute floated down over the Malay jungle. Gripping the harness was a young British agent who was to bring a first romance to the life of a Malay girl.
I was working as a manageress of an amusement park. It was there that I met my husband-to-be. Before meeting Danny, I had not known what it was like to be in love.
Daniel Dutton was a big deal. He ascended the ranks from a British soldier fighting the Japanese in Malaysia during World War II to a government officer in Singapore. And he set his eyes on the 20-something-year-old Vickie.
I was very shy before. I had always maintained I was too short for fashion modeling, but I was persuaded.
This is not a woman who would have been content just following a man around for his career. Daniel Dutton nudged her into the professional fashion world after they settled in Singapore, and she was already well into her 30s. So that's how Vickie Dutton was created.
So marrying him probably gave her a certain
Platform for her to, express herself.
Okay, Daniel, whenever you want to go in.
Behind now.
I think back to back, yeah.
I actually joined modeling because my boyfriend encouraged me to.
Make it more fierce. Yes, nice.
At that period of time, maybe it was harder for her because it was still largely a patriarchal society.
I feel she looks like the supporting character here.
Yeah. I mean, the original image, they were one
Yeah.
behind, one in front, right?
Yeah.
Daniel stood behind her. He let her shine. She was too radiant to be contained, and we needed to capture that.
I'm just wondering to make him look more like the supporting character.
Okay, gonna try this. I think Kalinski behind. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this dynamic is better.
Yeah. She's the main character.
I see it in my own family. My mom's the breadwinner. So I think that even without men, women these days can do great things on their own.
Look at the face. Wow. Stunning.
We see them connected, but independent. She did her thing and he did his. And they looked out together towards their future as equals.
She's high society, she loves glamour, she wants glamour, she craves for glamour. She enjoys being in front of the camera and people taking pictures of her. My aunties used to tell me that, Feline, this is your grandfather. You must understand the story. My granddad is not Danny. My granddad is this one. This photo, she's about 18, 19 years old, I think. Or maximum, she's 20 years old. So she was matchmade with my grandfather. She got married at the age of 13.
13?
To him, to my grandfather.
Oh my goodness. So she was like barely a...
Yeah, she's like still a child.
She was a child?
Yeah. So it was like, you can call it a forced marriage lah. She told me that she resented being married at such a young age. So she was not a willing bride.
Vickie had a whole other life before Danny. She married a man she had no feelings for, which ended in divorce. But not before she assumed a role often assigned to us women.
Vickie had 2 children.
Yeah.
Had only 2 children. One is Muharif,
This
my
is
uncle.
Muharif?
Yeah. And this one is Muhalid, which is my dad.
So Vickie had kids before she met?
Before she met Danny.
How old was she when she gave birth?
I think maybe 15. She loved dolls. She was saying that she gave the baby to the nurse and she said, I don't want this one. I want my doll.
Right.
But Vickie actually, what I understand of her, she is very ambitious since young. Even after the wedding, after the children come out, she still studied. She got plans, ideas. She's very ambitious.
So she wasn't your typical housewife?
Oh, no. This is her house.
This is Vickie's house?
Vickie's house at number 1 Tapilis Road. I lived there when I was small. It's a bungalow house with land, and we have a koi pond. Very nice, beautiful house. She got all the high society people. A lot of those people who go mingle around, rich.
Socialize.
Yeah, those type. During that time in Singapore, she was a top model. So if she has guests, we are not allowed to show her face. She doesn't want to get associated that she's a grandma because it doesn't sound right. So we have to call her Nanny. When it comes to her craft and her passion, she is one woman that is very aggressive in pursuing what she wants. She wanted to be a model, right? And she wanted to start fashion school. She got it. And during that time, in the 1960s, it's not easy to start this kind of thing. I respect that she has this tenacity to go through her dreams. Of course, the behind the scenes people doesn't know.
There's a different tint to these pictures now. Her beautifully dressed, even when she was just at home, hiding an internal battle. The choice a woman has to make between a career or a family. The judgment mothers face for putting one over the other. And the struggle of trying to do both.
Okay.
This just represents the beginning of her life. We are trying to recreate a separation from her reality and her dream. So it's almost like she doesn't belong here. She's always looking for something else, the light that she was always aiming towards. To me, orange is the color of hope.
Ken. Thank you.
I did want to get married young, but I feel like at 15, you're still figuring yourself out. When you're young, you have so many dreams. I felt like she was very held back by everything.
Yeah, that's nice.
So I hope I portrayed that sort of conflict of emotions, or that wanting to be more. She still wanted to dream.
It's quite nice. Like you're bored. Yeah. Yeah, that's nice.
Surely there's labels and stereotypes towards women who prefer career. But I think that women these days, we definitely have more freedom in choosing what we want.
Because of women like Vickie who did it first. Her fashion career only took off after she had 2 children, even if it did come at a cost. She eventually got it all. The fame, the dream job, the dream man.
Vickie is very, very in love with Danny. They were at the peak of their career, the most ideal couple. Danny's ambition is more on reformation of gangsters. That is why she was working for the Pulau Senang prison for criminals who don't have anybody.
I had an awful feeling that something would happen.
His passion killed him. Even at the grave, the cemetery, she couldn't stand. My dad, who was with her throughout, was supporting her.
You know the story for this scene, right? When Danny died and Vickie was at the funeral, she was kind of broken.
We constructed this idea of a beach with the color blue to represent the loss of her husband. On the fan. Okay, go. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, Irina, one more time. Yeah.
Ready?
Okay, go.
We wanted to capture the moment that she found out that Daniel passed. Like that stillness that catches you. A single wave splash backdrop that almost looks like Daniel's passing captured in blood.
Yep, that's nice, Kalinsky.
Her heroine's journey almost writes itself. With every monumental rise comes a fall. The person that helped make her Vickie Dutton is suddenly no more.
I was just thinking back to my own feelings of loss. My grandma was the one that took care of me, and she was someone who was really strong. And she suddenly passed because she had a stroke. It feels like your world was swept right under your feet. Someone you thought would still be there to go through life with you, suddenly gone. I feel like that must have been how Vickie felt when she was thinking of her husband as well.
We lived for each other. I am going to give up my modeling and fashion designing.
Is this how we lose an extraordinary woman forever? Are history books so starved of strong, boundary-breaking women like her? And her biggest imprint is her husband's death?
If you can meet Honey's, she can actually tell you more about Vickie's later stage of her life. Because Honey spent a lot of time with her, being there in London with Nan.
This is her little note. Gift from Danny on 21st birthday, Silver Fox Fur Stole. My dress, gold yellow, lace, strapless, cocktail, earring, emerald.
I love that she describes the colors.
Yeah.
So you can actually imagine it.
That's so true, isn't it? I am her youngest granddaughter or grandchild.
How did you feel when we asked you to be part of this documentary?
It was bittersweet, I would class it, because the realization of I lost someone so iconic I didn't know much about. But she would have loved this. In the 70s, she moved around the world a bit more, and then she decided to stay in London officially. I came here to study, so in a way, my dad always says there's always one of my grandchildren looking after her. She was fun grandma. You can go and talk to her. You can confide in her. She's also a diva. Nothing shocks her. You can be as naughty as you want. Nothing shocks her. You can be whatever you want in London.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Do you think she, in a way, came here to find that independence?
Could be. I don't know. You kind of question because the devastation of Danny and moving away from that. I think had he lived, I think they would still be in Singapore. She said to me she got married in a teal sari. Glenn was her third husband. Glenn was in Singapore and spotted her when, at that time, Danny passed away. Everyone chases her because she's stunning. 70s Elvis Presley kind of style, isn't it?
Priya, birthday present from Glenn.
When they were in India, Glenn gave her a leopard. He adored her. He showered her with a luxury lifestyle. He was traveling a lot. She found that she wants to stay put in London. That's when she divorced Glenn. She realized that she needed to support herself. So she opened the newspaper, scanned through, and found a job. It was Selfridges. She can sell anything. Each of her husbands taught her something. Glenn was the one that taught her how to be a salesperson because she had that charm and that aura that commands you to look at her. And she would always be one of the highest ranking salesperson when she was at Harrods. So you can see here the posture, the confidence. Look at that.
Yeah.
she never married again.
Did she talk about her fashion career back in Singapore back in the day?
I think she left it and that's it. You get the odd occasion, your aunties all going, yeah, your grandma used to be in the newspaper, you know, we would read about her. She didn't realize how big of a deal she was. Towards her later years, she wore leopard print. One of the favorite morning. Oh my God. It's unreal. It's almost like having her around, you know?
Kalinsky, you can close your eyes. Jamila, you just look over here. Yeah.
That looks so real. Wow.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, wow. Nice. It is cute.
I think the last time I felt this way was when I was back in school. Shooting projects that mean something personally to us. It reminds me why I'm in this field.
I'll take a photo of them.
There's no other Vickie Dutton in this world. I'm very, very proud to be her daughter-in-law. And I miss her.
Okay, Jamila, look over here. Yeah. That's nice.
I used to model before, and I was younger. People look upon you, wow, like a star, you know? But when you are older, much older, then people don't really look at you, you know? But I'm okay. That is the motto of Vickie Dutton. Age gracefully. I love that.
She aged a bit more. I think she wanted more of my time. I felt sometimes I didn't give enough. Waist down, she needed 24 hours care. And so having to put her in a home was basically the option that was left. When she passed, I decided to put her Muslim name, Kalthum Yahya, on the plaque. When you see all her lifestyle, her bubbly character, you would think that religion doesn't matter to her, but it does. She's very proud that she's a Muslim, but modern Muslim. Very proud of it. I really want people to know her contribution, her design. I also want her to be remembered for 1950s, 1960s, where women empowerment in Asia started. Because for a person to be able to go through life, through all these stages of happiness, grief, independence, all the way till her late 90s,
I think is one to be sheltered for.
Thanks so much, Mommy.
Thank you. Good.
Can I give you a hug?
Yes, you can. Oh, thank you.
Vickie never did get to write her autobiography. We've merely cracked open and caught a glimpse of her untold legend. But in telling her story, maybe we were also writing our own. I'm just starting to remember my own forgotten dreams in fashion, rediscovering how to express myself boldly like she did. We never needed permission to be creative, to color outside the lines that other people have set. But it sure helps to have an example like Amir Kalsum, Vickie Dutton.